We're the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at WGNSradio.com. This is the WGNS Action Line, talking with Rutherford County newsmakers about what matters most to you. Now, your host, Bart Walker.
Good morning to you. Welcome into the Action Line from WGNS. This morning we are focusing on the city of Murfreesboro, and the Murfreesboro city manager is with us, Darren Gore. Darren, good morning to you.
Good morning, Bart. How are you doing this morning?
Doing great. Is it cold enough for you?
Yeah, no, it's not too bad today. It's a lot better than it was a few days ago, right?
So. Absolutely. 37 degrees, I'll take that any day over 19.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, hopefully we're back into the normal routine weather-wise.
Well, I'm ready for all these golf courses to get back open. I think 40 is my threshold. If we get to 40 degrees, I'll get out on the course.
You'll be ready for it.
That's right.
Well, all the new things at the golf course there at Old Fort Park, that's going to be a fun course.
Hey, it's when they got those renovations done, I think there were some skeptics about this Zoysia putting greens that they were installing, but so far they've turned out to be great. They may not be able to get up to the same stint level or the speed level as other Bermuda greens, but they're fast enough for me. So, and I think for the normal recreational golfer, they've turned out to be outstanding. They're fun to play on. And
today it's supposed to be up to 60 degrees. Tomorrow about 65, and Friday up to 65. So hopefully we'll get some folks out there to play for Absolutely. Sure. I think everybody's probably got a little cabin fever and ready to get back outside. I know me and my friends, we've been going to X Golf. It's kind of an indoor golf simulator over at the Stones River Mall, and it's great and had a blast, but every now and then you just need to get outside. not quite the same.
Not quite the same.
Well, speaking of things that are improving, and the Water Department has a new home, and they're in that new home now. And that was your old territory. That has to be a certain amount of pride in that.
Yes, I'm a little envious. They've got a really nice, the old administrative building, and has built in 1977, I believe, maybe 76, and then of course the engineering annex, where our engineering and GIS folks were. That was the old city hall that's probably been there maybe even longer than that. So it was time for an upgrade, and with the Keystone development project still anticipated to occur there on the city property, we needed to move out. We were fortunate to find a location at 316 Robert Rose, the old Guarantee Trust building that was for sale. And it's about, just around 20,000 square feet. And we went through and knew that there were some renovations that were required. So there was some areas that we needed to remodel for customer service purposes, but a lot of the office space really just needed new wall coverings, new floor coverings, painting. And we kind of went in and identified that it had plenty of space for us and room to grow. And the price was right. I believe when you added up the purchase of the property was right around $5 million, and I think we ended up with all the renovations, new roof, new air conditioning, all the reno, new expanded parking lot, and a drive-through. All of those things together was about $3 million. So I think we're $8 million all in for 20,000 square feet, and don't think we could build that new anywhere in the location in the gateway area that we're located now. So everybody's excited. And I went to the Water Resources Board meeting yesterday afternoon, and they've already moved. They moved last week, but pretty painless, they said. Everything had real good movers, and there's always some IT hiccups, but they're working through those pretty seamlessly as well. So everybody was in high spirits, and we're still delivering water and sewer services and still taking customer service payments, and everything's working very, very well.
So people, when they want to pay their water bills now, they go to the new location.
Yes, sir. There's a kiosk outside. It's not like our typical drive-through where you're seeing someone, but it has a vacuum system that pulls the tubes back and forth, but you're seeing someone on the screen. And then, of course, you can go inside and pay your bill as typical. And I'm sure we've got a drop box for if drive-by if you just want to drop your payment, in the drop box. That'll get processed. And, I know COVID had a lot of negative impacts, but some of the positive impacts it had is we did get pretty innovative about putting a lot of things online that we had previously not allowed to happen online. So if you go to the Water Resources website, there's a lot of things you can do online now that you couldn't do, say, 5 years ago. And so we've kind of innovated to some degree after the COVID stuff, and we still have that old school customer service where we want to see people, if they want to come in and drop their payments off, we'll be glad to smile at them and tell them, hey, have a great day.
And of course, that new facility is right there on Robert Rose Drive.
It's at the corner of Robert Rose and the Gateway Boulevard extension. If kind of that where they come back behind the Oaks Shopping Center, there's a new road, Gateway Boulevard, and a signalized there at Robert Rose. We're right on that corner, and so it's kind of I don't know if it's still a good backdoor option because it's been open now for several months, but people can come in and utilize Gateway Boulevard off of Medical Center Parkway and come kind of to our facility through the back door, if you will.
The city did a phenomenal job on that extension.
I think they did. That project was done very quickly, very efficiently. I think it was a very good expenditure of taxpayer funds. Again, it gives us kind of that shortcut without having to go to Med Center and Thompson Lane back to Robert Rose. Now you've kind of got a cut through between Robert Rose and Medical Center that I think really alleviates a lot of you're trying to alleviate pressure on intersections for the most part, so that anytime you can create cut throughs and new intersections to take some pressure off your existing intersections, that's kind of the goal.
And that Gateway extension goes right along the Stones River.
It does.
A beautiful part of the Stones River. The other side of the river is the golf course.
Right.
And is there enough room to build some restaurant or something? People have been talking about restaurants on the river.
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't loed at that, but after this conversation, I will definitely be going in and looking to see if there's some room there. Just
picture, catfish or
hey, listen,
seafood.
One of the parts I'm envious about not being over there is that the building we have, it does butt up to a nice bluff on the river.
Beautiful.
And overlooking the golf course. It's beautiful. There's an outdoor pavilion out there that really, it's probably one of the best views in Murfreesboro, quite honestly. So a little bit jealous about not being out there.
So that is now open, the Murfreesboro Water and Sewer Department. If you want to pay your bills, that's where you go. You don't go downtown. That building is empty now.
It's empty. I'm sure there's people going in and out, maybe just getting the last bit of stuff. But yeah, it's closed. We have signage on the buildings that at our engineering annex and at our admin building that direct folks back over to 316. So there's signage up that'll let people know that we're out of commission in those facilities.
Well, now, that almost has you totally out of commission in all of those facilities along Broad. The only, the old annex, police annex, that's been empty for several years now.
Yes. Everything is really at this point is vacant.
Even the old city hall.
Yes.
No offices there.
The fire administration offices moved out to 2140 Thompson Lane, and they share that building with the Parks and Recreation administration, so they've been out for quite a while. 2140's been open several months now. Maybe, I don't want to say a year, but it's been several months.
Mm-hmm. And so another part of the Keystone Development Project right across the street. That whole area is now, with the exception of the liquor store, has been raised.
Yes, it has been raised, and we have let the contract for the Town Creek daylighting project, and that was approved in the end of the year, and that contract was awarded by the end of the year, which is required as part of our ARPA funds, American Rescue Plan Act. There's significant money, I think in the order of $9 million that the ARPA funds are going towards that project. So one of the milestones or deadlines is a requirement to receive those funds is we had to have the project awarded and contract signed by the end of 2024. And the other deadline is we have to have the actual project built by the end of 2026. So people ask a lot of times, when is that going to start and when is it going to complete? Well, it's going to start ASAP. The contract's been awarded. I don't think we've issued the notice to proceed yet, but if we haven't, we're close. So as soon as the weather permits, I think you'll start seeing activities out there. I know we actually have an easement item on tomorrow night's council agenda dealing with Town Creek. So there may be some that easement item might be the only thing holding it up from starting, but then we've got to get it done in 2 years.
Now, Town Creek, which was put underground in the 50s, I guess it was.
That's what my understanding.
Is that going to go a straight line down Hickerson and that general area on over to Cannonsburg?
Yeah, I think straight line, fairly straight. I mean, there's going to be some curvature. I think just some nuanced curvature in it to make it look aesthetically pleasing instead of just a straight, straight creek. So there'll be some aesthetically integrated curvature into this, but in essence, yes, it's going to go from aligned with Hickerson back down to Cannonsburg.
So, and that's basically where it goes right now.
Yes, that's where it goes right now. And when you're at Cannonsburg, you can see Town Creek that discharges into Lytle Creek. And so we think it's going to be not only just a very attractive, amenity for downtown, it's going to create some great environmental qualities, benefits as well. I mean, daylighting that creek will allow, obviously, the sunlight, which will allow photosynthesis to occur, which will allow plant life to grow, which will let the little critters have something to eat, which will, again, so you're going to introduce kind of a whole new ecosystem when you open up that creek. So we're excited for it as an amenity. We're excited for the environmental benefits. It's really something that it's going to, I think, transform that area.
I guess this really goes back quite a few years to a meeting which was focusing on the historic bottoms development.
Right.
And were you at that meeting?
I was actually part of the group that was looking at the North Highland study area.
Oh, okay.
So I was on the other study group back. I guess that's probably close to 10 years ago now.
Time flies.
It flies. But I did know that the historic bottoms study was going on at the same time. And yes, there's a vision that was cast there. And I think in any, the council does such a great job of trying to create that vision because, the biblical principle, without the vision, people perish. So we look, and the council understands its role in casting that vision. And when you get those studies done and you put that vision out there, a lot of times it seems like it may not go as quickly as you want, but it's definitely something in the back of staff's mind that it's there and we're working a plan. We're going to work towards that vision. And sometimes opportunity presents itself, such as the ARPA funds that were distributed. That really presented the opportunity to get a major component of that vision implemented. And so we're constantly looking for those opportunities, looking for those partnerships, looking for folks who are willing to invest into that vision. And we want to be as easy, speedy, and receptive with them as we can.
And it's interesting how things come together. I don't think these were in the plans initially about the Cherry Lane expansion on over to 840.
Right.
Who would have guessed that we would run into some issues with the Corps of Engineers about a wetlands physically on Cherry Lane, if you see where it narrows in.
Yeah.
And is it not that issue, that Cherry Lane wetland and this daylighting of Town Creek, were able to swap some
I think
credits,
I probably need to talk more with Sam, but when you create when you restore streams, or you create stream footage, you can use that as credit towards another project that you may be disrupting streams or disrupting wetlands. So it's a stream mitigation credit type system. I don't know that we've necessarily qualified right now for I think we're still working that. So Town Creek, to try to get some stream mitigation credit for restoring that stream that we can use to offset, say some road projects that sometimes, obviously, road projects, there's streams that are impacted when you build a road in a lot of cases. So we're constant. Yes, the Corps of Engineers. I've had I probably shouldn't say this, but a love-hate relationship with them for my entire career. There's times when they really work with you and you get things done well. And I mean, a great example of that is out there, off the Walter Hill area, and that walking trail and the horse trail that's out there that goes along the Coleman farm. I mean, I think that was one of those parts, everybody was kumbaya, arm in arm. And then there's times when you have a little bit of a rub when you're affecting, having to relocate people who are now the Corps is telling you can't go through a certain sensitive area because of a endangered species. I think, or if there's some wetlands that they think shouldn't be disturbed, and you have to move a road that affect, people's homes. And that's where it gets tough. And you want to argue, hey, I think impacting the wetlands is less onerous than impacting people's homes. But the Corps sometimes digs in, and there's not much you can do. You just have to kind of work through it. And ultimately, if you want the road, you have to you got to get their permits, and you have to do it their way at the end of the day.
And this will hopefully allow you to do that.
Yes.
Get you the credits anyway.
Yes, sir.
I remember back at that historic bottoms development meeting, I've never been to a place like this before. Everybody broke off into study groups.
Yes.
And then they all came back together.
Yes.
And these people were as diverse as you could get.
Mm-hmm.
And they came back with the same ideas.
That's awesome.
I mean, I've never seen that before. One thing that they were very much wanting is more room for family venues, music, arts, things of that sort. Will that be developed into this greenway, the system coming out of the boardwalk, Murphree Springs wetland, across Church Street? Will it all be a part of that?
Well, I hope so. Definitely. Again, that's part of that vision, that we do want that area to kind of evolve or migrate into. The another big component is going to be, there's the pedestrian bridge that we're looking at, going over Broad Street from downtown there at Church. So connecting the historic bottoms to the downtown area via a pedestrian bridge is a real big component of, Sam uses this term a lot of, activating that space. I mean, we want to get people over there is critical in order for private entities and developers to see it as a viable or developable area. So if we can create the linear park, if you will, through the Town Creek, and we create an ingress egress or a way to get there and back from downtown, and people see more activity in that space, then that should prompt someone to come in and say, hey, there's an audience here. There's people that they're still going to be hungry. They're still going to be thirsty. They're going to want some other activities out here besides maybe just looking at this nice, beautiful creek. And that's where the entrepreneurial spirit comes in and people see opportunity. And that's really, a lot of what government's role is to help develop opportunities through infrastructure. If we create the infrastructure via a bridge and a park or a creek restoration, then it hands off to the private sector, and they really start leveraging opportunities there.
Murfreesboro City Manager Darren Gore is our guest. We're going to pause for just a moment, check on the traffic and weather. We'll be back, and we'll open up the lines and take your text questions at 615-893-1450. Perhaps you've been stimulated with a question now. Text it on in to us. 615-893-1450. We'll be right back.
You may think money problems are just impossible to fix. Get sound advice with Dave Ramsey 1 to 4 weekdays, followed by certified financial planner Jason Qualls at 4.
With all the financial headlines, are you wondering if your retirement savings will last? The market's ups and downs can keep you guessing, especially if you're approaching retirement or considering it. Hi, I'm Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin. If you have more questions than answers about what's next, let's work together to help ensure you're prepared for your journey. Stop by our office in the Public Shopping Center on South Rutherford Boulevard or give us a call at 615-907-7056. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.
Looking for great deals on name brand clothing, furniture, and more? Visit the Garden Patch Thrift Shop on Spring Street across from the tall downtown NHC building in Murfreesboro. Our competitive prices and quality selection make it easy to find exactly what you need. And here's the best part, 100% of your purchase supports Greenhouse Ministries, helping over 70 families a day. When you shop at the Garden Patch, you're not just getting a deal, you're making a difference. The Garden Patch Thrift Shop on Spring Street in Murfreesboro.
At Holden Hardware, we carry one of the area's best selection of sleds. We carry the round disc to the 48 and 66-inch plastic toboggans. We also have a few different ones in between. We may even have the old-fashioned wood and metal sleds. When you are wanting to buy a sled, don't drive all over town. Come by and see us at Holden Hardware on the square. If you see the sleds in the window, we have them waiting for you. But don't wait too long. Get your sled at Holden Hardware on the square.
Good morning. A couple of accidents getting some attention out here. It's still a little bit heavy on 65 southbound at Trinity Lane. They've been doing some road work early this morning out in Rutherford County on 24 eastbound at Sam Ridley. Traffic's been a little bit slow through that section of Rutherford County. Again, that's 24 eastbound at Sam Ridley on a pretty good slowdown as traffic continues to build. I-40 coming past the airport over here at Hermitage and Donaldson. Hey, Prince's Hot Chicken has live entertainment tonight from 6 to 9. Check it out online at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We'll see sunny skies here this afternoon with a high in the upper 50s. Tonight, mostly clear, a low near 34. Thursday, chance for showers, a high of 61. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS.
Currently, it's 43.
We'll see sunny skies here this afternoon with a high in the upper 50s. Tonight, mostly clear, a low near 34. Thursday, chance for showers, a high of 61. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS.
Currently, it's 43.
Need a new set of tires? Head to Tire World, where you can buy now, pay later. Ask your Tire World experts in Murfreesboro, Smyrna, and Laverne about their financing options.
Tire World, we keep your family rolling.
Get the Bridgestone-affiliated retailer credit card.
The GNS in our call stands for Good Neighbor Station. That's been our objective since 1947. Now more than ever, count on WGNS.
Welcome back. Darren Gore is our guest this morning. He is the Murfreesboro City Manager. Want to say happy birthday to Linda Wade. She is the winner of the delicious Slick Pig Banana Pudding. Happy birthday, Linda Wade. And our good neighbor of the day is Susan Hicks. Susan Hicks receives flowers from Ryan Flowers Coffee and Gifts. Jenny Harrison and the family over there. Their family to yours, always helping you. Ryan Flowers Coffee and Gifts. The number to call if you have a text question, 615-893-1450. Remember, it needs to deal with the city of Murfreesboro. Darren Gore, the Murfreesboro city manager, is our guest this morning. 615-893-1450. I guess the big thing right now, you've mentioned that the Keystone development is forefront. You're getting ready to daylight Town Creek. So much has happened. The property across the street is basically ready to have that creek daylighted. All of the businesses in the Keystone development area are now, most of them are vacant. The old City Hall, the water department, they're vacant. When is the next move? The mayor mentioned he was on the first Wednesday of this month, and he mentioned that we were at a point we're about to begin demolition and construction basically at the same time, and he said February would be when it begins. That's a few days away.
Right. Well, we have to bring back the development agreement to the City Council, the Industrial Development Board, and the Rutherford County Commission. The old agreement included, as part of the capital expense, it included a hotel. A hotel is still a component that's expected to occur as part of the development, but due to financing reasons, the development team really needed the hotel to be a separate capital expense that would be financed through a different mechanism and would need to be on its own parcel. So we've been at work for several months now, honestly, getting that hotel parcel isolated so that that hotel could be developed independently of the parking structure and the other mixed use developments that are expected to occur, the retail and the condominiums and the multifamily. So we are planning on bringing that revised, we're calling it an amended and restated agreement to the council's workshop on February 13th. That's the expectation. I think we've been working very hard to dot all the I's and cross all the T's so that we could review that with the council to ensure that they are amenable, right, to agreeing to the changes. So that's where I'm at. We've been working very hard. You know, the developer is committed to building the parking that's necessary for the hotel. So the parking deck that's part of this development, it will have to accommodate the hotel parking. And so there's a parking agreement that will need to be signed between the development team, HRP, and a future hotel. So we've worked actually on creating a parking agreement template so that a future hotelier that would come in would see the terms and conditions that they would need to sign off on in order to take those parking spaces that are needed. So there's a lot of, it sounds easy when you say it, just take the hotel part of it out and let the other part go first and the hotel come second. But by the time you get into all of it's just the devil in the details. Once you get into all of the granular level details that need to be worked out, access easements, cross utility easements, getting pad ready for the hotel site, those costs, all of those things need to be accounted for. And then, of course, the TIF, the tax incremental financing. It's like you're going to have a certain TIF without the hotel. And we've been working with Tom Trent, an attorney out of Nashville, that's let us know that we can amend that TIF amount when a hotel does come in. So now you've got kind of an initial TIF and an added component to the TIF when the hotel comes in. So that needs to be very well thought through and communicated to our leaders because it affects property taxes and there's sales taxes and lodging taxes and there's a lot of things involved from an economic impact study that we need to readdress. So that's a long-winded way of saying we've been working hard on it, and we are ready to approach the council. And then those other entities mentioned, the Industrial Development Board and the County Commission, they will also have to be introduced or educated on the changes and asked to accept the restated agreement.
Okay, so the construction will not begin in February.
I don't see the construction starting in February. I think it would be hopefully sometime in, and I've got a schedule, but it may be somewhere in March or April.
Okay. Now, you had mentioned about parking areas. The original plans called for a multi-level parking garage, I believe.
That's correct.
Where the city police department is now, or was.
Correct.
Is that still the plans?
Yes, there's a 715 space parking structure that is a component of the development. And honestly, the tax incremental financing, really, that's the reason that TIF, if you will, is brought in is to pay for that parking structure. That's really kind of the public component, or a large public component of the improvements is parking. And downtown is in great need of parking. We've had a downtown parking study. It tells us that we need more parking downtown, and that's something that that this project will help alleviate.
Here's a text question from a listener, which is right along those lines. They said that the city used to have a parking lot off of Spring Street where the old bank used to be, and now that is just all fenced off. Is the city going to purchase that back from the developers, and also are they going to be building city offices on that? That was what the mayor had indicated was needed.
Yeah, I think that's what we have called One East College, the development. That again, that was a developed pre-COVID. That was the idea, was to create some structured parking, and we had a public-private partnership where there was going to be some, retail and some condominiums and maybe some multifamily. I'm not as intimate with the details of that public-private partnership that was entered into, but COVID came and it basically killed the project. But we've had it's been sitting there for too long. The council has engaged with the property owner to try to renegotiate a sale to get that property back. And through that renegotiation to look at reinstating some public parking on the site. Not sure that there's government offices. There is space needs for more government offices, but there's a yin and a yang to that. Some people that's needed downtown, and there's some folks that may be in favor of putting more government offices downtown. But the more that property won't generate property taxes when it's used for government purposes. So, and there's some that think that maybe it should be, we would like to get another public-private partnership to see some development that would maybe generate taxes. So that is a to be determined. But yes, we are re-engaged with that property owner, and the concept at this point is to reinstate some public parking downtown. That our downtown parking study says the east part of downtown is where the parking is needed most.
Here's another question from a listener along those same lines. They said they were very excited when the old bell tower at First Methodist Church was saved, and also the sanctuary was saved for use either as a theater or as a special restaurant. Has anybody been looking at those buildings since they've been vacant for many, many years now? Vacancy creates things falling apart.
Yes, well, second law of thermodynamics is entropy, right? Things tend to move towards a state of disorder, and that goes with buildings as well. So yes, that building has not been conditioned, i.e. no heat or air, for years, and we do need to go back in and assess that condition to see if it has degraded considerably or if it's not degraded as much as would maybe be anticipated. But I think, and I don't want to speak for the council, but I believe that the intent has always been to save that sanctuary and to repurpose it as part of a historical component of downtown. And I believe that's always going to be the goal, unless it just comes back that it's the cost of saving it is just beyond the pale.
Has anybody been in the building?
Not that I'm aware of, not that I know of, and that is something that we've had conversations about. Is we do need to get in there and have a kind of a condition assessment of that building, since it's been sitting vacant for so long. So that's a to-do item. So more to come on that.
The mayor had indicated when he was on that this is a hot topic with him. He gets very upset with this issue of One East College. And he said that the TIFs had been taken away.
Correct.
And so they don't have a whole lot of ability. I mean, they've lost their TIFs.
They have.
Which is tax savings.
Yes, it's a tax incremental financing. And yes, I do not believe that there's an appetite by the council to reinstate those TIFs. And that's why there is the idea of re-engaging with the owner, negotiating the sale, and to buy it back and either put public parking there or look at some public parking with potential government office space. That is, again, a to-be-determined item. We have not come to any type of negotiated sale with the current property owner. But yes, those TIFs will not be, every indication to me is those TIFs will not be reinstated by our city council.
When we start taking text questions, we start zooming from one end of the city to the other.
Got it.
We'll zoom to another direction, a whole other project. This one is a Buc-ee's fan.
Oh, yeah.
And they say, I've been watching Buc-ee's lack of progress here in Murfreesboro while I see them continue to open new buildings and new facilities in other places. Are they having some issues?
They are not. Everything from the city's role and responsibility has been accomplished. They've had a major water line that's been relocated, some Atmos gas lines relocated. The road, the Elam Road is open and ready for business. The only thing that I'm aware of, and I actually talked with Kevin Jones, our building and codes director. They could pull a building permit today and start, but they do have a real estate transaction, it's my understanding, between TDOT on some right-of-way at the interchange that they are going to be doing some type of either swap or, and it's worked out. They're going to get the property, but I believe what's happening is until that transaction occurs, they're just not going to proceed, even though they could in anticipation of it happening. They're just, my understanding, I haven't talked with Buc-ee's, but I would imagine that until that's inked in, that land swap or that land transaction, that they're going to hold off on starting the vertical construction.
Okay, and once they start that,
it's ready to go. It's going to happen fast.
Tell you what, let's pause for just a moment. We'll be back. We've got some more questions. We're going to talk about some good growth that's happening, good retail over around the avenue, and sort of an update on those.
Broadcasting to every nook and cranny of Rutherford County's
probably want to bring up veterans. We're taking Veterans Park
100.5,
to council tomorrow night. It's a $16.4 million
MTE
West. They call it the West Park.
Funded by members who round up their electric bills to the nearest dollar each month as a donation and support hundreds of local nonprofits. Find out more at sharingchange.org.
This is Peter Demas inviting you to enjoy a meal with our family at Demas's Restaurant. With cold and flu season here, nothing helps my family more than having the Demas's baked chicken and rice soup. It was a soup that was created by my grandmother, and we not only sell it by the cup, but we also sell it by the quart, by the half gallon, and by the gallon. So stop by anytime today and bring soup to your family that may be sick or a friend that's been sick, or just to enjoy it just because it tastes so good. Demas's Restaurant.
At Bud's Tire Pros, we sell all major brands of tires, and we invite you to stop by today for that next set of tires. Or maybe you need us to check out your vehicle before you head out of town. We offer everything from brakes to batteries, alignments, and more. No appointments necessary, just stop on by.
I'm Allison Mitchell with Bud's Tire Pros. We're located on East Main Street, exactly 3 miles from the town square, 1 mile past Rutherford Boulevard. Visit us online at budstirepros.tn.com.
Hey, this is Dan with Music World and Drummers Den. Come in for your guitars, keyboards, drums. We have you covered. Our prices will normally meet internet prices. We also have PA and DJ equipment. Some lights, yes, we have that covered too. You can come rent a PA and sound system, do your karaoke, and bring it back. Come see us at Music World and Drummers Den, the one-stop shop where you have everything that you might need. 2762 South Church Street, right across from the golf course.
The food's delicious at Adams Place.
Well, I'm afraid the food is too good. I have a problem turning down the dessert.
Alan Butcher at Adams Place.
But the food is wonderful. Danny and all the cooks and the servers back there are just wonderful to us. We have plenty to eat.
Hi, this is Terry Deal at Adams Place. Call me for more information about Adams Place. Phone 615-904-9111.
Adams Place on Memorial across from Walmart.
Get old. Old National Bank, that is. Old National Bank has the experience and service you need to buy a home, make investments, even online and mobile banking. Old National Bank is in the borough on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard.
Old National Bank at 2230 Dr. MLK Jr. Boulevard, which used to be Mercury Boulevard.
Visit us and enjoy warm, homemade cookies at Old National Bank.
Old National Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Broadcasting from the tallest tower in the city with that little red light on top. FM 100.5, FM 101.9, and AM 1450.
Murfreesboro's City Manager Darren Gore is our guest this morning. We are focusing on the city of Murfreesboro. Lots happening. In fact, we heard some of this the other day, and we wanted to get some expansion on it. The Veterans Park, the Patterson Park. That's coming along extremely well. Tell us what's happening in those areas.
Sure, Bart. So we've got several things tomorrow night. Kind of our Parks and Rec. It's a Parks and Recreation show tomorrow at council meeting. There's kind of 3 significant projects that are up for approval or consideration by council. One is kind of the old Fort Park. There's the old softball field or baseball field out there, and a lot of parking renovation that's involved with renovating that ball field and the parking lot. We're going to put a lot of the pervious paver systems down. That's about a $2.9 million project that's up. There's also Patterson Park, which again has got a lot of parking lot improvements, but most notable is a splash pad that's going in. That is up for consideration to award that contract tomorrow night. That's about a $2.8 million contract. But the biggest item up is the Veterans Park project. Those bids came in a week or so ago, low bid at $16.4 million. There's going to be a destination playground, event space, natural areas, walking trails, both paved and stone, and some pickleball courts that are out there. Of course, ample parking, so everyone's very excited. That's been something probably that's been out there that the west side of Murfreesboro has kind of been asking for years and years, and it's ultimately now on the table to be considered and awarded. Came in substantially below what we thought it was going to cost, so some good cost savings, even though it's still a significant expenditure at $16.4 million. But very excited to have those projects move forward. I know Nate is ready to he's ready to get going and getting those projects built.
And this is going to be the focus of the city council this week.
It is. It's tomorrow night. There's some other business items on there, but these are probably the 3 largest items that we're ready to get them off the ground and get those notice to proceed to start that construction as soon as possible.
Now, for people who don't know, because it's moved around a little bit, where is the Veterans Park physically going to be?
Well, it's off Veterans Parkway, and I believe it's in between Highway 99 and Highway 96. I don't know how to describe it any other way. It's just going to be on the west side of town along Veterans Parkway. It's on if you're traveling north, it'll be on the right-hand side or the east side, and if you're traveling south, it'll be on the left-hand side. So again, east of Veterans Park.
The city school.
We'll have a press release that comes out probably Friday announcing. We expect the council to award that project. That's been something on our capital improvement plan. We had a retreat. We've discussed it. So it's. I don't want to say by any means there's not some item that is not going to be approved, but it's very foreseeable that it'll be approved, and so we'll have a press release on that, and I'm sure there'll be an exhibit that kind of shows where we're at there.
And so that's going to be an exciting time, because that's been in the discussion phase for many years.
Yes, absolutely. It's been something that this is the property that was swapped with Middle Tennessee Electric. We had initially, the city owned the property right there on the north side of 840 and Veterans Parkway, and gosh, this is probably maybe 2015, 2016, somewhere in that range, that there was envisioned a park on that property. And then I think Craig Tyndall, a few years ago, along with maybe the Middle Tennessee Electric negotiation when we were selling Murfreesboro Electric Department, that there was an acknowledgement that 840 and Veterans Park property was much better situated for an economic development opportunity than a park.
Sounds great. We look forward to following that in tomorrow night's City Council meeting. In the meantime, we thank you, Darren Gore, for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the time, Bart.
Murfreesboro City Manager Darren Gore, our guest this morning here on WGNS Murfreesboro. Hey, have a great day.